On the special today is upgrading the shocks on the Deuce.
Well, you don't know if the shocks are blown. We think these could be seized, the trailing arms. So, task at hand today on the budget. So, what are we in this? $850 now?
Sounds about right. Cheap.
Yeah, $500. Oh, it gets even better. We paid, Lonnie paid $500 for this. Engine was already on it. We put a $150 performance kit. I think I haven't really added it up. $250 pulley. So we're like $900.
No.
Well, Lonnie was going to buy one of my batteries from me, and we found out the dude gave us an Everstart battery that's brand new, like it's full charge.
So there's 40 bucks saved right there.
At least, yeah, it's a long.
So it came with a working battery, a running engine, and the sachet.
So Lonnie's going to work on pulling the front tires off, the shocks, and the tie rods, and then we're going to knock these clips out and pull these trailing arm off. And I have a Deuce chassis outside, and if it has the better trailing arm, because these are the weaker of the styles, we'll pull those off and slap them on this. That'd be
free upgrade.
Yeah.
Just from having a friend.
Well, don't go there.
Having a associate.
Yeah. And it came with the luggage rack, and we're going to install it because it'll hold our gas tank. No welding back. It's going to be, okay, let's just get the
4 bolts and it's on.
Yeah, I'm pulling the gas tank off. Lonnie's going to jack up the front end, and I'll work on the back section as he gets the front section.
Where do you put your gas tank? You just knew it?
I
didn't do anything.
Those, you can get those bolts and those. So we're on the lookout for a good, affordable Polaris Sportsman 700. And that's what we're gonna do the whole diff and everything on this. That'll be pretty sweet because it's CVT. We don't have to worry about gears because these chassis are so cramped. Like they're comfortable, but adding a shifter to the floor will not be.
So outside of the engine, wheels and tires will be the most expensive upgrade. Still won't be in it too bad.
No, yeah.
You think all in all it'll be under $3 grand?
No.
No.
I think your four-wheeler is going to cost around $15 for a decent ATV.
The tires are off.
We got the gas tank off. That actually was all we had to do back here because I'm going to take this key switch box off. It doesn't need to be here. Take this bracket off because it doesn't need to be here. We're going to leave it governed for right now. We're not going to mess with that. But this is the easiest freaking upgrade because it's a factory part. This. And these bolts will slide through there and bolt this up, and that just forks over top of the chassis. Then we have a battery and a gas tank. And then Brad Hill made us these tanks a long time ago. So we're just gonna set this. We gotta cut this little bracket off, but it'll set like this just over here and have 2 large hose clamps around it. Hold it on. Should be safe enough. Well, let's see.
It's just me.
Yeah.
Oh, you're far! You're far!
You'll get a rammer. There we go. Our rack is installed. And we're going to leave the battery exactly like it is. Not changing anything.
It'll work.
Yeah. Now
I just got to beat them bolts out, get the shocks off.
there's your hammer. Those jabbed it. Everything is pretty seized on here. Now see if, yep, that's what it is. Look, that will not even move.
So it's they probably painted it.
I was gonna say, they're probably spray painted shut.
Spray board.
Do the McGregor watch.
diesel, so she's cold.
Oh, son of a...
It started. We got this from Scott, the Deuce girl. Boy, man. And it's been sitting out here. So we can upgrade them to these if you like. So this is a later model Deuce. That's a real early Deuce.
Yeah, what about all this?
That four-wheeler.
Oh yeah. That looks like the four-wheeler my parents had.
You'll see if these will work on your Deuce.
Yes.
They're the right lug pattern. We just need one for right now.
Those are sick.
You gonna go ahead and upgrade today?
Yes, I do.
These would be a little bit more than you buying tires. Those are sick though, dude.
Mm-hmm.
But do you want those 14-inch rims? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What I'll do is I'll let you use them. It ain't like we're gonna wear them any.
Yeah.
And then if you decide
Well,
you
I
want,
like the wheels, those.
yeah, I do
other
too,
wheels.
yeah. But yeah,
But
so
yeah.
we'll upgrade your wheels today.
Freaking sick.
To get these trailing arms off, we just gotta knock this rope in out. And it's probably not gonna come easy. Is it coming?
It looks like it's moving.
Oh yeah. Hey. That was literally held in so tight with paint.
Top one too.
And that's crazy how tight that is.
There, that moved. Hey.
Yeah, grab that propane torch, Lonnie. Alright, now we can probably get some blaster in there. Hopefully we don't mess up these bushings because, I mean, they're hard to find. But good thing is Lonnie's not keeping this suspension forever. Look at that PV blast rush. You can already see air squeezing out from in there. And while I go, that's it. So that means it's getting in there.
Look at all that crud.
Solid rust. So I'll end up having to cut it. Cut a slit down it and got it off. Alright, now we just need to go outside after getting these polished up. And let me see this real quick. So these are from Benchmark Abrasives. These are their little sponge like paint removers. These things will remove rust and paint without eating into the steel. So you can see how good they work. And it's not going to damage your steel at all. So if you don't want to take material off, these are the free. This paired with this Milwaukee, as long as you're not like heavy duty using it for like 2 hours, Milwaukee can't handle it. Poor thing. These, look, are already moving because someone greased them like you're supposed to. So this has actually got grease in it. And bam.
You're like, oh, this one sees too, we gotta cut it off. What's the point?
Cut all of them off. Look at the man on Friday.
What?
Let's slide it this way. Hey, look at all the water coming out. Oop. Lonnie's upgrade went from tiny to pain in the keister. He's worth it. He's a sweetheart. Mother's lodged. I think if we can get it, if we can soak it in PP Blaster and get it to spin, that's what's going to relieve all that old grease that's just grimed up. So basically these holes, these original shocks was 1/2 inch holes. So I took some decently like 1/8 inch thick washers and bored the metric size hole that these shocks, I think it was a 10 mil hole.
Yep.
But these are Go Power Sports shocks. These are some used ones. We got 2 new ones go in the front and then 2 used ones go in the rear. And this is going to adapt it to use the metric size bolt. We're just going to tack these washers on, like weld them around the tops and the sides. Do both of these and I'll show you in a minute how we adapted the chassis. And then Lonnie cleaned up and rebent this spindle that was bent out of shape. And we have a 1/4 inch gusset we're going to weld in here to super strengthen this so it'll never happen. Even though we're not keeping this front end long, we still want to, while we have it thrashing on it, we want it to be strong.
We will be mean to it while we have it.
Yeah, so just to protect it. So I'm going to do some tacks around this, get these washers tacked on, and then we can tack those gussets on. Took a minute to get the ground initiated. There's a little bit of old Chinese paint left on there. Actually, it's not Chinese, it's Chicago paint.
American, baby.
So how we adapted this, because these was 1/2 inch bolts and these are 10 mil bolts, was I took a piece of 1/2 inch round stock on the lathe and I bored a hole out, and it's very hard to see, bored a hole out in 1/2 inch rod stock and then hammered it in here and we cut it flush. So now we've adapted this down to 10 mil. So now our shock will slide right on. We can put a washer on each side and we have this adapted. And then like I showed you guys, we welded washers on to adapt this down, and this is just temporary, but it'll work perfectly fine. But now we have, the only thing we've got to do is put some washers in here to space out because this is way thinner than the original shocks. We'll get some marine grade blaster grease, coat this, coat the inside of this, then once we get it all slid back together and the keepers in, we'll pump it full of grease just to make sure everything's super lubed. And then we have the front end put back together, and all we got to do is adapt the shocks on the rear the same way. Make a seal, and we'll show you the steps in depth on the rear shocks. Oh yeah, some schmutz. That's real nice. All right, we need the washer.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Look
cool.
at that.
Mm-hmm.
That's really nice. We're good. All right, so we had to modify some washers and cut a section out of them. And so there, this is going to be an awesome setup. Nah, I can't wait to fill it with good shocks.
I know.
It's been so bad riding this thing.
The shocks were non-existent.
So we had to do those big washers over there because I don't want to push the bushing out. We might go take off the tie rods off that Deuce because they was beefier than these are.
And they'll fit because they're,
Oh yeah.
they went to this.
Go ahead. Okay, so I got my adjustable. You got your.
You got me.
Much. Yeah. That's good. All right, so I had some tires. These are supposed to be for the diesel Deuce. These are tire guiders. They're Chinese, but they're awesome. And we got some steel golf cart wheels on them that I really like. That's the same set that's going on the twin engine, as well as the diesel Deuce. Make sure you put the valve stem out. Stiff as a board.
Oh no, it's on the jack stands.
Oh, I was like, it didn't move a single bit.
Whoopsie.
I was like, well, shoot, I hope it softens up a little bit. That's a little bit of bounce at least.
Oh, geez, look at the butt on that.
That's a lot better than what it was.
Yeah, and these shocks always take a few pumps to prime up. I bet it's going to be stiff. But what we can do if they are too stiff later, it depends on how long we wait to do double A arm too. But we can lean them one way or another, you know.
Mm-hmm.
None.
Yeah, I did. I saw it go down with you.
The following Thursday.
Soften them up.
So you can tell the difference in these front tires. It freaking looks aggressive. And we did do some night riding, but the footage was garbage, obviously, because we don't have any light bars or anything. But these tires are going to make a massive difference. A little bit worried about the push in the front end because it was already doing it last night.
Yeah.
With
and
it.
These tires don't ride near as good as
What those are, yeah.
new ones will.
So I'm sure it's the Ackerman angle. It's completely wrong. So your Ackerman angle, if you drew a line from the center of your differential up to where your spindle is, the tie rod needs to fall in that. So to make this correct, this would have to be way out here to give us Ackerman angle. We have hardly no Ackerman angle right now. And Ackerman angle means if we turned left, in a left-hand turn, your left tire is supposed to cut drastically more than the right tire, and that helps to grab and push you around. It was invented by a guy back in the day with the last name Ackerman, and he had a horse buggy, and it kept pushing the front end, and he figured, how did they figure out stuff like this? Like, how did he figure out this is what you do?
Trial and error.
So Lonnie's going to pull off the rear tires and the rear shocks. Those shocks are blown as well. It's going to be a little stiff, for sure. We would have to move the shocks in a different location to really, look at that, it's just squishing those shocks. It almost bottomed them out, just jacking it up. But we're just going to try it at stock location right now, see what happens. If need be, later on, if Lonnie decides to go with this front end for a while we do like roof rack and stuff, and lighting and all that junk, because we got a lot of upgrades to do to this thing.
Yeah, it probably will be on there at least a few months, so probably got to adjust that.
Crap rainy day today. Lonnie's at our mini tire horde. We got a lot of vehicles to get ready for our race. That should be it.
There it is. It definitely looks like it could be widened with A-arms though. And the
Yeah,
front
it's
stay the
super
same.
narrow. But I mean, think of the how skinny of trails you could go on. But that thing looks freaking sweet, dude.
I like it a lot.
I like it a lot. We
Those
can do.
tires are just awesome.
Hey, we could on the next episode we could make a spare tire holder. Hold your spare tire slanted
here?
on the rear,
Yeah, that'd be sick.
and then do the roof rack and doors in the next episode. I think that's what needs to happen next is accessories like doors, roof rack,
Doors
light
will
bars.
be huge. Some sheet metal to keep mud off of you.
We'll do some type of fenders on it. Yeah, it's gonna look sick. So we're gonna get those shocks pulled off, get that upgraded, because this should be a pretty quick little run before we get to ride it.
There we go.
So I had taken this piece of 1-inch round stock and put it in the lathe and drilled the hole that matches the metric size. So now we can sleeve this inside and basically adapt this hole size to the metric for the Go Power Sports shocks. So there we go. Now we're going to cut this off with an angle grinder. Then we have this adapted, and then I'll have to bore this the rest of the way on the lathe for the other side so we can adapt that. And then up here we'll do the same thing. We'll put some washers on it like we did on the front and just do a few welds, probably just weld it mostly on top and a little bit on bottom. So I have to clean both these off and the sides, and then we'll have our shock upgraded. We do need to move the shock forward quite a bit. It'd be nice to put the shock probably here right over the axle and then lean it up into this area to soften it, but we're just trying right where it's at first, and then we'll see what we have to do to adjust it.
And I'm ready to have my buggy not beat you to death whenever I'm riding through the trails.
The next upgrade for Lonnie is a fully built 460. I have a 460 on the shelf that already has a stroker kit in it, so we can do like a mild stroker kit. We're going to do a 460 with head work, cam and everything, with electric start. So what we'll be able to do is wire up electric start, and your choke will be choking the dash, so you can fully get in it, start it on a cold day in the cabin. I think that'd be sweet.
And with how fun it already is, a fully built or at least built 460 will be really fun.
Yeah, because it'll have head work, everything. Look at it freaking pouring.
Yeah, it's pouring. You guys are probably hearing it. Real nice.
Look at that empire dirt. So now I'm going to go throw this on the lathe and go ahead and bore this out for the opposite side. And Lonnie's going to get to cleaning those tabs, and we'll get those adapted. Alright, so we got those washers welded in. Had to modify these big fender washers just like on the front to clear the actual shock body.
Easy enough.
So I'm guessing I'm going to need to split the difference on these.
One side done, one to go.
Alright, so we got the shocks all upgraded. Now it's time to slap the wheels on and see how stiff she is, because I guarantee it's going to be stiff.
Pretty stiff.
These are 10-inch wide, 25 by 10s on the rear and 25 by 8s on the front, so it has that little bit of width difference. But these wheels and tires are super affordable for what they are. I like them quite a bit.
Sick.
Yeah, they're aggressive. This thing's going to sling a ton of mud on us today. This thing looks freaking, like those tires make it look more military than it already did. All right, so we're dropping her. See if just the chassis weight squats it at all. None. So go like climb in it. You don't have to sit down because the seat's probably wet.
Nerd.
Which I figured it would probably be like that. The preload's almost all the way down, which it's only one notch from being all the way down, which isn't going to change it enough to really even mess with it, to be honest. But this is at least, we'll try this out with both our weights. I mean, I'm double you, so it's like 3 of you being in there. Even if you stick with this front end, whatever we decide to do, we'll definitely have to, you know, adjust that. Like we'll just move the front top parts forward about 6 inches, and then the rear, we'll put the bottom of the shock over the axle and the front leaned up some. And we'll keep that same stance and then do the panhard bar fix where it's better. But so it's time to go rip. All right, guys, so we got all those upgrades done, the shocks and the tires, and like we said, it's a little bit stiff on, it's a little bit on the stiff side for right now, but that's fine. We just wanted to locate these shocks right back in the factory location, and we'll adjust that later. But the very next episode, you're gonna see us on this rainy day be able to rip it through the woods and sling some freaking mud. These tires hook, and I can't wait to upgrade Lonnie with even more horsepower. That's where this Deuce would even shine, shine even more now, is more horsepower and a little bit better brakes. meaning front brakes. So we have a ton of parts that we're going to use and have used linked down below, so make sure to check those out. Go Power Sports has a ton of parts for any go-kart you're wanting to build, any kind of chassis, whether it's a yard cart or an off-road buggy like this. This whole series is, we've designed this whole series around how you guys would probably upgrade this. So, you know, we know you guys don't have a huge amount of parts just at your disposal, so we're trying to do it in steps, just like, you know, you guys would build it, and show us how we would build it if we was just doing one piece at a time. And I hope you guys are enjoying the series. So next episode, we get to rip it around the woods, and then we're getting to doing the roof rack and the doors and the spare tire mount. So, and we're also going to do some tree kickers and things to make it more trail ready, because we are taking this to Windrock as soon as we get it done. So make sure to check out those links in the video description. Let us know what you want to see us do with this Deuce, and I hope you're excited for the future. At the end of this series, we're going to be doing a Polaris transplant with a 700 or a 500 Sportsman. So if anybody's local and has one for sale, we would like to know, and we may buy it from you. So make sure to let us know about that. And remember, as of right now, our 25 days of Christmas giveaways is still going on, so make sure to comment down below, and make sure to stay tuned on our social media platforms. So thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you, Go Power Sports, for the awesome go-kart goodness, and we love you guys and hope you guys have an awesome Christmas, pre-Christmas week. We love you, and God bless.